Hello everyone, good time of the day. I'm Sidival, and today we continue reading World and Economica, episode 2. So, I guess first let's make a few quick announcements. Well, not a big ones. Actually, I think only one announcement is that I am considering was starting from next week. I probably gonna stop streaming World and Economic stream on Twitch because let's be honest, these streams is pretty much I believe worst streams to watch because I so gonna watch wanted to watch someone struggle to read visual novel, and even if someone actually want to watch it, it's probably better to do the first uh, episode, first stream, which means it's probably soon gonna start from YouTube pods. Um, well, maybe I'm wrong, but at least I believe so. But obviously, I'm not gonna completely stop streaming World and Economica. It's still gonna be on our YouTube channel, Cedival React. Because two reasons. Firstly, I like to read, and second, I still consider it is as English practice. I still hope it's gonna improve my English. Maybe it's gonna be slowly, but I am okay with this. And another thing, well, not announcement, just I wanted to make a disclaimer. Today, probably I am gonna be a short stream. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Just I'm really sleepy, and when I'm sleepy, I kind of, as you probably noticed, struggle to read. But who knows? Maybe it's not gonna be the case. I'm drinking one cup of coffee, and so far, I actually have some energy, so maybe it's not gonna be too bad. But I guess we're gonna see. Anyway, so in previous stream, we pretty much only have conversation between Eleanor and Harum, which was actually really important and really interesting. So we pretty much learn about Eleanor's dreams, what she wanted justice, and they kind of have bonding with between Haru and Eleanor on big dreams, I guess. Well, because of big dreams. So they definitely have some understanding between each other. And because of that, Haru eventually agreed to help Eleanor with her dreams, with fighting against this bad company Avalon. I believe it's called Avalon or something like this, which pretty much use information to destroy our companies. As Eleanor company as example. So, is it too quiet? I'm not sure. Like, I have a feeling what BGM was a little too loud. No, I think it's gonna be alright. Anyway, I guess let's just continue watching, well, reading. So, it is time skip. After they get to agreement. Well, is it agreement? It's pretty much Haru just well, I guess yeah, Haru agreed to help Eleanor and work with her. Anyway, I guess let's start reading. Good evening. It's time for showing your street weekly overview with Richie Garrett. Who is Richie Garrett? Is this hmm, I don't think it's the guy what working with Avalon and Barton, but I don't actually remember his name. Hmm. Unfortunately, they don't mention his name for some time, so we can't see it. I guess we're gonna. I guess they're gonna say it. Hmm. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this guy has another name. Oh, anyway. How has everyone fared during another volatile week in the market? Gains, loss, the news you want on the stocks you need, price movements, market highlights, and the bottom line. Let's take our usual look at all of it. Before we get into that, we have a special guest to introduce. Oh my, today's guest is the head analyst from the presentation investment firm Platinum Smith, Susie Wu. Okay, no, it's I guess gonna be show with Eleanor or Susie Wu in this case. Thunderous applause. Cue camera. The climax was brought upon by a blonde woman appeared out from the smoke. Her platinum blonde hair pinned into an intimidating updo. Susie Wu, in her skin dress pants, her dark sunglasses, and cheek pink lipstick. Market was full of documents, while the hour was almost consciously on her hip. Her glasses made her sullen face actually appear full of confidence. Frankly, I couldn't believe it was Eleanor. Thanks for taking sorry. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule today. Your hair sure is shooting up today, just like the stocks. Reaching guard, the president in his gold suit purposely pointed his mic up towards her hair. Susie Wu shrugged her shoulders as the audience laughed. Haha. Anyway, glad to have you here today. So, today we'll be spending the next 60 minutes with the popular analysis, Susie Wu. Everyone, let's enjoy investing tools in hand. As he spread his arms out dramatically, the camera panned out over the entire studio. So, I'm kinda interested if Haru just watching this show or he also in the studio. I mean, I don't think so, but who knows? Then Cartoon Character stock market charts danced around and then switched over to their godly CG intro. So I guess he's just watching. Yeah. Mm, is it his room or it's church? Actually, not sure. I think it's church. His room looked not like this. I then muted the sound of the stream and reduced it in a corner of my screen, starting up my investing tool. There was a single training name listed. Certificate number um, 3227. Ticket symbol Avalon. Energy Corporate Complex Avalon. Previous day stock price was at 622 moles, up 1 and 2%. By trade volume, it was in third, first being Emerald Industries, and second being a pharmaceutical company that just had it patent for protein structural determination software approved. Okay. You couldn't go so far to say their financial situation was in tip-top shape. But if you think that they were still in development, that was not out of the ordinary. Debt is nothing, but a fertilizer for growth. And there is no time to hold in eternal reserves, they say. Their main profits are from the energy trading department. and supporting service profits follow after that. The energy trading department was just that, a department for trading energy stocks. But it just happened to be the department Eleanor mentioned before, the one that didn't discuss its details. There would be nothing suspicious about Avalon if it was a company producing and selling energy, but they were the founders of the energy trading market, where everyone could purchase the electricity flowing through the moon. Avalon collected brokerage fees from people, but it also seemed to have done trades itself and made a rather large profit. Therefore, it was hard to tell how much was from electricity companies' profits and how much was from their gambling earnings. Normally, earnings outside of company's main function are recorded as separate financial statements, and Avalon had done the same itself, but Eleanor saw that there were discrepancies in them. Basically, she suspected there, there may be someone who was using the electricity trading market as a cover. Um, YouTube, are you alive? Yeah, nice. Okay, sorry for this. For some reason, I get a blue screen. I have no idea why it's happened. Um, but okay, let's I guess continue reading. Um, yeah, I think everything working. Mhm. Yeah, let's get to the same moment. Um, where did this was cut? Mhm. Yep. I have myself. Did I have Steam open sonars? Yeah. Okay. Hmm. I think we stopped here. Okay, let's continue from. Oh, continue from this. Basically, she suspected there may be someone who was using the electricity trading market as a cover, since you could not tell who was trading it there and inflating the sales and profits. With that in mind, I tried looking through the electricity trading market. First, production of electricity on the lunar surface became a free industry, where anyone could produce and sell electricity. Production is fine, but there are those tasks of delivering that energy to end customers falls on the energy producers. Thus, with Avalon having the most transmission facilities available, they had developed the energy trade market. Energy producers sought of futures there, meaning the amount of energy produced each month was predetermined. Buyers purchased those futures, and Avalon transmitted the energy. It was all rather simple, up to this point, but the problem was that electricity prices are unstable. While the mode of energy production was mostly solar, and the amount of generated was fixed, the movement of people and development on the moon was intense, causing regular fluctuations in demand between areas. Hmm. And then, by supply not meeting demand, there was a shift in price to cover the shortfall. As well, when there is a shift in price, it always brings forth an investing opportunity. Within Avalon stock market, it brought in a flurry of individuals unrelated to electricity production or distribution who just gambled on the price fluctuations of energy. It wasn't that hard to smell. Around when Avalon was doing trades in that market itself. It would be the same if the owners of casino, is it casino or casino? I mean, it's not gonna be first word I'm written correctly. Casino. It will be the same if the owners of casino players played the same slots in their own store and won big. Hard to not cast some doubts on them. However, as long as Avalon itself was not controlling the demand for electricity, once changing the price, it was difficult to indict the wrongdoers. As electricity isn't like things you could buy and keep in industrial scale storage, they couldn't raise the price by choice. In fact, Avalon gave this explanation when confronted with the suspicions of ours. They did make a point there, I thought. Bookie or not, they were in the same boat as everyone regarding the future prices. One could just play it off as their traders legitimately being really good. But then, Avalon built energy production and transmission infrastructure with the money gained, sending out more electricity through the lunar surface and improving the movement in the energy trading market even further. Everything progressed smoothly. Or perhaps it could be that because it was progressing too smoothly, people like Eleanor had grown suspicious. That's the basic overview of it. Thus, Eleanor adopted their accounts because Avalon had enough of motive to do something like this. After Eleanor's company went under, it had been brought up by our companies and ended up being part of Avalon. But it seemed that the payment of accounts at that time wasn't done with Avalon liquid assets, but with the stocks of its own company. It's not strange to use stocks instead of liquid assets to buy out a company. After all, the side receiving those stocks may or may not make more money of them in the future. The side selling the stocks would sell things without using up liquid assets. I thought Eleanor's company was in the black, it ran out of liquidity and went under. So, it stands to reason that people would want Avalon to maintain its high stock price regardless of it buying up one company after the other. They did have motive to pad sales and profits for the sake of using the electricity trade market as a core. I interlocked my fingers behind my head as I sat in my chair. This was on another level than simply launching my investment tool to do stock trading, which just involved extracting numbers from our numbers. This smelled like the world of grown-ups. It had been 1 week since I shaken Eleanor's hand at that hotel. It seemed that she really was working rather hard and hadn't gone back to the office on Schrodinger Street much at all. As I seemed, because being busy taking care of all the paperwork removed after quitting my government job and having the move from the dorm, I hadn't popped into the office much. Okay, so he quit his job and he moved from the dorm. So, interesting where he moved. I mean, I guess it's probably maybe it's the same building as in which church was, because it seems like kind of similar. But who knows? Anyway, also, in the real estate market, I hadn't been able to find a house with a reasonable price. I ended up staying in Lisa's church. Okay, we get our answer. The smile Lisa welcomed me with at the gate, combined with her saying something about guiding the lamps down their new path, made my nose feel itchy. By the way, so far we actually don't really see a lot of Lisa in this episode. So maybe with him actually being in in church we're gonna see her a little bit more. Hmm, who knows? Maybe right now she's just even more side character. Hmm, Anyway, I just noticed for some reason chat's no best died. Well, everything else seems working, and I still have another chat that I'm using, so whatever I guess. Chris being Chris, didn't even try to hide her glee. But I hadn't said I quit my government job to grab with this problem seriously. It seemed that Chris wasn't aware that Glaive Gold Shower was Barton. Hmm? It was stated that Avalon CFO was stationed on Earth, and not once had made a formal appearance. Using all the money and connection at her disposal, it seemed that Eleanor had come to the conclusion that Barton was a Glaive Gold Shower, while she was investigating Avalon. That's why Chris had no clue at all. At most, Chris knew that Jack Rennie was Barton Cladwison. Eleanor didn't seem to have told Chris of her true intentions. She was probably so selective about who she tells because she realized how megamaniacal her goals was. Even if that flowchart in that hotel room was the true account of what happened, then saying, you should overthrow them because their finances are suspicious. No matter how you praise it, it seems pretty out there. Normally, things would be summed up as her being delusional. That certainly was that was certainly why she employed me to do this instead of picking up a specialist. Eleanor probably assumed I take this seriously because I had once tried pursuing a dream as fanatical as hers. Or that, for her begging me to lend her my strength, was just a really roundabout way of speaking. She wanted someone to believe she was serious. There's the possibility that was the only point. I took Eleanor's hand because I wanted to lend her my assistance. There's no question of that. But also, if it did all turns out to be nothing more than a paranoid assumption, I didn't want to leave her by herself. I knew in my own flesh what catastrophic results could occur when you deliver too deep into something, and how narrow one's vision became. So, putting Chris aside, I wasn't sure if I should tell Lisa or not. If I should tell Lisa or not. As of this point, doubt I had told her nothing. That's because while Eleanor certainly had an intense fervor, she did seem like the type of person who would lose sight of herself. Hmm. She had lied her dream to me completely. I felt it would be rather rude to discuss with someone else that she might be a bit nutty. Interesting. Can we say what Eleanor right now a little bit similar to what Harubi was in first episode? Hmm, I mean, maybe not exactly. Anyway, so that's why I stayed in Lisa's church. I hadn't uttered a word about Eleanor. Also, I still hadn't touched on investing. I was manually sampling stock brands to improve Chris' data, but otherwise, I was spending the rest of my time looking into Avalon. During one such an occasion, the door leading out to the corridor opened. I lifted my head. I looked in that direction. It was Chris. Had meat and vegetables rolled up in two tortillas in hand. It was a good. Chips stand near the church. I got them. Yeah, I turned off the stream of the stock market, financial reports, and then, standing up from my chair, I poured some coffee. So, where has Lisa gone off to? To the to the kindergarten. Seems she's been teaching there lately. Kindergarten. I guess she really has turned into a matron. Apparently, she well liked. She said, when she tries to leave, they pull on her rope, and so she can't. You don't go? Chris had done much more than enough to Lisa, but she was still helping out, managing the church. I was certain she'd be helping out there as well. But Chris gave a tired laugh. I don't know why, but I'm picked on when I go there. They pull my hair. I don't listen to a thing I tell them. I looked from Chris to the cup of coffee in my hands. It was rather easy to imagine that scene of Chris being picked on by a bunch of kindergarten kiddies. It's probably pack behavior stuff. They can probably sniff out the low ranks instinctively. Animals. Yeah, that's right. Animals. It was really like that. Sitting in her chair, signing, she drooped her shoulders and bit down on her tortilla. The prestige Chris received from being accepted into Lunar City University only applied to civilized society. I went out on weekdays her fully automated program was earning enough of a fortune to make your head spin while she was yawning away. There was still a place where this awesomeness would not mean anything at all. It was a rather strange feeling. So, when does it start? I asked that as I picked some of the mice and meat that had spilled out since it was too difficult to focus on trying to keep it from falling out in the first place. It starts at 2 p.m., so we'd make it even if we took our time. What are they talking about? Is they having an hour date? Chris had a tiny mouth and tiny hands. Yet somehow she could handle that big tortilla skillfully without anything spilling. But she wasn't able to keep the sauce from splashing around her mouth. I stared at it, starting to feel like I was watching a squirrel eating in a wild. You really coming? I don't think there's anything interesting there for you to see. Okay, if he's doubting, then it's probably not a date. That's not true. If you're going to call yourself a carnivore on the lunar surface, then I think going to there then would be really educational. He said she wanted to be like Barton, and the way she was eating her tortilla was a far cry from carnivores. But over there, the place we were talking about could undoubtedly be called a den of carnivores. And, in Eleanor's words, was a tower of falsehood built with lies and deception. In fact, I'm rather surprised. Really? Yeah, if you ask me, it never seemed like you'd be interested in companies like Avalon. So they're going in Avalon. I guess they probably have some presentation or something. Their profits are increasing, their sales are soaring, they're upscaling, they're always improving. So, of course their stock value goes up. All you need to is buy Avalon, then go to sleep. Well, even if you were to make money betting on them, It's not really a brand to boast to our about. Right, right. You're headed to the Avalon corporate seminar. Not a seminar for job seekers, but one the company organized for investors, focused specifically on individual shareholders. Held practically weekly. It was to show the tracks of Avalon's success on the moon, as well as to make know how intensely it was going to grow from then on, so that people hold their stocks for the long term. That seems to be their goal. I couldn't understand it from a PR standpoint. It certainly improved their public image. There were brands that held planned tours often, especially food-related brands. In an email, Eleanor had said that, in the case of Avalon, they had yet another face. Avalon stated they were a general energy trading firm, but, but they were just an electric company. They were a company that was founded at about the same time there was an energy shortage on the moon. They made more money the higher the cost of electricity went. So, as the temperature on the lunar surface went down, their company heated up. They faced a lot of criticism. So, to tell those people, it was part of their strategy to keep their image as good as possible, as Eleanor guessed. I have thought the same way. But they are still on the moon, a company that embodies success because they are here, on the moon. I'd like to see that in person. I'd like to see the training room in person too. The one said to be the tallest in the world. Its construction cost 200 million moons, didn't it? If you include the salaries of the trainers working there, it's said to cost more per square meter than anywhere else in the world, even including Earth. The greatest mind in the greatest place. Doesn't it make you excited? Such a lunar way to be. He spoke cheerfully, with just a dab of chili sauce on the corner of her mouth. Then again, Avalon was popular, as it was because it was in a place like that. Sure does. Hehe. She tilted her head to the side and giggled. An intelligent lunar-born girl. I rapidly finished eating up my tortilla before looking at my display. Avalon. As of right then, I had nothing against them. But if Barton truly was involved, no magic he could cast on it would surprise me. Avalon's headquarters was a 50-minute walk from Newton City Central Station. Did we see this building before? Not sure. I think so. Yeah, not sure. I mean, maybe we've seen this, or maybe I just seen it in CJ when I was looking for something to use for thumbnails. Yeah, don't remember. Anyway, but that was simply 50 minutes calculated by the real estate agency and how it appeared on a map. Central Station on a Sunday afternoon was murderously crowded. After taking some breaks for Chris who didn't feel well being winded, it came out to more like a hour. I remember there was a new article about a faint-hearted tourist that went into a panic and caused a commotion. Maybe hyperventilations? Saying that with all the people here, the oxygen would run out. Not a laughing matter. I'm sorry. She shut the lid on her canister with natural lunar water, written on it, and placed it in her bag. It seemed that Europe used primarily plastic bottles, as they ran on crude oil. But as there was no crude oil on the moon, all drinks and foods were sold instead of in steel or ceramic cans. Pop iron and the raw materials for glass, silicon could be harvested from the moon. It was also possible to recycle from them indefinitely, so long as we had solar energy. But I had heard that with the increase in electricity lately, there wasn't much difference between that and importing them via space elevator. Perhaps eventually, the steel marks you are used to using will be gone and replaced with boring plastic goods. The increase in energy prices affected various aspects of the lunar surface. It was probably because of that. It had become something of circus in front of Avalon's headquarters. Knock down the corporation hoarding all the electricity. Corporations need to be held accountable. Electricity to the people, the sun for the moon. A crowd of people holding picket signs were screaming out in front of Avalon headquarters complex. A 92-story structure brightly named New World Gate that had the distinction of being the moon's fertilized building. The group was made up of somewhere between 30 and 50 people, enclosed the color of vibrant greens, the sort I saw often in front of the government branch office. It must have been a common occurrence, as there were no cops on hand. Instead, a few bored-looking guards surrounding the group. Passers-by seemed less interested in the message than the fact that it was the sort of thing they usually only saw on TV. They caught everything on camera. There's the exception. Looks like if you go in the main gate, it's near the entrance number 32. Seems easy to get lost. Are we on time? But there's directions. Look. Chris, appearing a bit uneasy, saw aside reading Avalon Enterprise Seminar Hall. Partway into the main gate made of a lot of glass and a cool, still in turquoise material. Next to a hologram display was a deliberately retro-designed android, buying ridiculously. We express our deepest gratitude that you would join us today. Please proceed down this corridor to the right. Actions were given out of in synthesized voice, seemingly intentionally, but with had Chris smiling gleefully. Said his name is Arb. He said that as we walked down the long corridor, side by side. Arb? Arboreal, maybe? Like the wooded islands of Avalon. It might be for arbitrage. That the same goods are sold in store A for 100 moons and in store B for 120 moons. If you were to buy from A and sell at B, then you'd profit with no risk. Traders specializing in this type of actions were arbitrators, ARBs for short, which was a Swedish company that found an electricity trade market. This sure is an amazing courtyard route. You're right. It's almost like this isn't Newton City at all. I mean, it looks nice. There were hills, ponds, and downfalls within the wide courtyard. Down the path we walked, and the large headquarters complex could be seen past that. The path gently curved to the left, and the courtyard appeared to be fan-shaped, extending up to the front of the headquarters complex. Furthermore, You see, this building with the path we were walking was also made so that the courtyard couldn't be seen from the outside. Avalon was founded 12 years ago, apparently. He said that while looking into the courtyard. In 12 years, that little company that started on the second floor of a delivery pizza service had become this big. It's amazing. Chris spoke, looking off into distance dreamingly. That said, it wouldn't be hard to imagine the scenery before her eyes, being part of a dreamscape. On Earth, I hear that cows double in wave every 10 days. Is it true? Never hear this. What? That would mean they'd wait half of ton in 100 days. If animals can get that big that fast, then companies should grow faster than that, and money should multiply faster still. That's rather amazing. You probably are gaining at about the same speed yourself. He made a face at me when I said that, as if I had insulted her, then gave a wry smile. It's hard to tell numerically. He gets angry at me, at times doubt. He says I need to understand the repercussions of my actions. I've come to realize that from my conversation with you and Hagana. Is that so? Yeah, remember what I told you, how much was made of the money I got from your family. Hagana said, you can buy new shoes with that money, and you just froze. Now that you mention it, yeah, that happened. That happened 4 years ago. Can you see how frightening it grow is? It was offended when I said that with irony, unable to entirely hold back a nervous smile. Saying a full bag stuffed with goods earned 70 moles a day. 70 moles. That probably wouldn't cover a day of that arm guy electric bill. Oh. He turned back to halfway, looking surprised. Yes, that's likely true. But with that 70 moles, you'd be able to eat Lisa's home cooking for about 3 days. Chris looked idly into the courtyards and spoke. It's like a different world. The end of the corridor just came into view and appeared to enter into a plaza. There were tourists with children in what seemed to be a tour group. An office person in sharp suit approached Chris and me, being the sort of bringing smile one would expect of an Avalon employee. You charter. Welcome. Will you be participating in our company's seminar today? Oh, yes. May I ask for your attendance authentications? Chris showed him on her terminal, and with a smile they loaded the seminar schedule on it. They also had it on card copy booklets for anyone who wanted them, so all guests from Earth taking the tower were staring at paper pamphlets. You will be escorted shortly, so please wait one moment. With one last smile, he left with the same deference and nods from the employees at the Sontinue hotel. This little plaza had a domed ceiling with mechanical birds circling with a clattering sound. The temperature control was also well managed, making even this area that looked so inefficient warm. It truly is a different world. Just as a moment that I welcomed, signaling the start of the company seminar. Avalon began as a small energy brokerage firm, started by our current CEO, Kevin Leif. As the explanations would go on, We would walk through the company with the employees running in front of us. This was this kind of event apparently. There seemed to be somewhat of a distance to cover. So an employee, seeing that I walked with a crutch, offered a wheelchair. I felt I didn't really need it, but Chris also suggested I use it, so I ended up borrowing one. So Chris was now looking over my head, smirking. It seemed that she wanted to push me around. And this was the actual building. The crowd let out a collective gasp of awe, as in front of their eyes, the image of our shabby building was displayed. Three-story building, like this could be seen everyone in Outer District. It even had in the pizzeria one of whose "Thank you for your visit" charter figures set up. Ken Leif's quick, opportunity-grabbing methodology, the regulations of the lower city government, rising energy demand, huge investments in infrastructure. Matching foods altogether, Kevin Leif, at that time not even able to buy a pizza from the pizzeria, now owns this cutting-edge corporate headquarters on the moon. The guide motions behind them, towards the shining glass window skyscraper. That comparison made one feel it was somewhat magical. Then, how exactly did Kevin Leif make Avalon such a large company? I'll explain it by going over each department with the company in order. First is the energy brokerage firm. The tried and true system is still in place, and even without going through the market, has connections to link the power plants wishing to supply energy in long-term contracts, and the various industries wishing long-term and fair rates for their users. This was an especially boring floor, probably created like this for guide purposes. There were a few regulations left over back then, which was why there were few energy generation stations. Energy generation, transmission, and supply workers were all scattered about on their own. Wasn't that rather inefficient? That was where Kevin used his own two legs to gather information. Based on that, he was able to bring efficiency to the people. It's like one of those stories back down on Earth. The audience burst into laughter. The Earth, crippled to snail, paced by regulations and gravity, the moon moving freely and efficiently. After that, Ken applied himself to the energy transmission industry. He headed up to the 5th floor beside an indoor giant glass elevator. Looking down the 1st floor, we saw fountains and ferns spread about. It looked more like a shopping mall than a place of work. Energy transmission companies at that time had lines connecting only Area A to Area B to transmit energy, or were able to send energy anywhere within only Area C. It was a fairly odd setup. Everyone still profited, though so things remained calm. But Kevin, being a go-getter, realized that what was most needed was the ability to send energy from ward A to B and B to C, to where people needed the most. Then, after collecting all that knowledge about the city under his own steam, putting even the real estate industry to shame, he was able to figure out which combinations were the most profitable. On the floor was a plate labeled Energy Transmission Department, and there was a wall of a mesh of transmissions cables. There was a part of the model glowing golden. It was a small figure meant to represent Kevin and a glowing move side. If the combinations works, then you could apply the same to the energy generators. However, This is where this is where regulations got in the way. A collective groan resounded. The audience now enamored of Kevin the go-getter ridiculed the stupid government shutting him out. The regulation stating that energy transmission, production, and sales shall not occur simultaneously within one company had been created so energy industries couldn't monopolize the lunar surface. But on this ever-expanding lunar surface, the thought that a single company could get a monopoly became a thing of the past. Convenience get bigger and bigger, as they couldn't cope with peak hours. That's when came the go-getter, now a full-fledged industrialist, went right up to the parliament to give us a swift kick in the rear, of course dodging bureaucrats. Our elevator began going up again, at its unusually slow pace, as we passed the floors labeled Legal Department and Regulation Department. Then another Ken figure came flying out from the pillar supporting the elevator shaft, reading text that read, "Rest over the foolish rules." These figures seems completely stupid. But anyway. If you guys keep up this inefficient nonsense, the cost of energy on the moon are going to burst through the dome and fly all the way down to Earth. That was the logic Kevin used to wake them up and get them repeal that regulation. Nice. This came from one of the Earthling tourists. When I looked over at Chris, she was giggling like she was being tickled. Then, after the regulation was repealed, Kevin, as an energy producer, went on to create the greatest energy company on the moon. When we arrived at the floor, with a plate labeled Energy Production Department, the elevator stopped. We'd already gone up quite a way. When I turned around and looked beyond the wall of glass, I got a bird's eye view of what I seen before at the Royal General Hotel suite. Yes, would you look at the scenery behind you? That's the outlook Kevin had from that point on. The guide said that, imploring the audience to turn their vision to the scenery, probably because I was looking at it. I couldn't stop myself from letting out a sigh of admiration. The edge of the dome could be seen from here, and beyond that was the vast, cold, mysterious outer space. But Kevin, the go-getter, didn't stop there. He looked back on everything up to this point, and he realized that he'd really ended up gaining was the ability to help supply every home, workplace, and construction site with electricity. That's where Kevin thought down the line, was able to make things more efficient, but there's a limit. So what should I do next? Make a stock market. The guide pointed and smiled broadly and responded to a shout from one of the tourists. Exactly. Think about petroleum and stocks. Our Nina market is so complicated. It's able to be efficient because everything contributes with their little pieces of wisdom. So that's where Kevin set his sights. The guide took us down a corridor that appeared to be an open ceiling terrace coming up from the first floor. Chris tapped my shoulder and I looked up onto the future boss. Huh? Yeah, let me guess, it was written on the ceiling or something. For some reason it didn't finish. Anyway. But building up such business infrastructure is no small feat. Everyone tries imagining this. A shared living room or a company break room. It's easy to understand that things are more efficient for living and working when it's clean. But nobody wants to clean it themselves. To make people do it, you need to shut Get cleaning. The guides went ahead, of emphasizing the emptiness of the company buildings on the weekend. But people would just look at each other in puzzlement and not do anything. For one, there wasn't an energy stock market. Getting a market requires a lot of funds. Especially since the energy being sold to ours need to be transmitted over to them. It's not like you can just pack it up in a cardboard box and send it over. He needed to invest a lot in power grids, and he also needed the brains to make that enormous, complicated system. Normally, each of us would be the specialty of separate companies, and take many years to build up. But it can't give up then. No, of course not. As if by fate, two collaborators appeared before Kevin. The guide stopped and looked back. It was yet another elevator there, nothing but two guards, staying with their arms crossed. I noticed it instantly. There were two doors on the beam above the elevator entrance. So one of these is Barton. Don't think Barton was bald. Oh, maybe I'm misremembering things, but this guy also don't really look like Barton. I mean, it's really kinda hard to tell just looking at these dolls, and because they're strange. Do I actually have Barton on some thumbnails? I do. Okay, no. I was thinking he blonde, but he's not. And he definitely still have hair. So none of this is Barton. But I guess again, nobody actually know about Barton. Barton kinda working from the shadows, so makes sense, but he's not gonna be one of the dolls. Anyway, there were two dolls on the beam above the elevator entrance. One of a blonde youth, one of a man in his 50s. They were Grave Goldshower, the current CPO involved in numerous industries' financial affairs on Earth, and Jeremy Bosman, the one considered as the greatest stock trader at a time, then Apollo himself denounced the moon for its greed. Wait, Goldshore, is it Barton? I believe it was Barton. But for some reason, I can't remember his real name. Obviously, it's too late to check it. But I think Barton was a CFO. And this should be Barton. Don't look like it's Barton. Well, actually, Barton looks also wear red. So if you like watching close, it kinda makes sense. I mean, who knows? Maybe Barton actually have a wig. Anyway. According to Eleanor, one of us was Barton, but the doll looked nothing like him. Okay. Actually, Caro agreed with me. Anyway, true customer. I heard that. I read it. Anyway, I heard that Goldshore has always been unearthed out. Someone brought that up. Yes, that's correct. Goldshore has a medical condition and cannot ride the space elevator. He became acquainted with Kane when Kane was canvassing for capital on Earth, and being impressed, he said, "If you, I'll bet we could all make it on Jupiter," and volunteered to be the CFO. And then, after being procured an immense sum being said of around 50 million moons, he insufflated life into Kevin's dream. He's probably talking about the purchase of the electrical grid, an extremely high price that forced the Emerald Industries out of this field prior to the creation of the energy stock exchange. They wouldn't hesitate in taking debt up to 2 to 3 times their own size. Back then, if I recall properly, they would even take over 10 times their own size in debt. A hard-handed feat of strength. But a feat of strength in which you could sense purpose and conviction. That enormous amount of 50 billion was capital raised by Barton, and it was a move worthy of him. He had the tools, the stage was set, but he didn't have the hand to use them. But just at that time arrived, a young genius said to have a Q of 230 to set the day. Jeremy Bosman. He had recreated Kevin's dream with a computer, and then wait. So if Jeremy using is Jeremy more like Hagana than Haru? I mean, maybe it makes sense. Like Barton more similar to Haru, and then with Jeremy Bosman more similar to Hagana or maybe Chris. Is there a chance we're gonna learn what Hagana working with Avalon, or maybe with Jeremy Bosman? Actually, I'm not gonna be surprised. Roche, which probably gonna meet her. Well, we obviously gonna meet her one day, and I don't think she was just not doing anything all this time. So maybe she's gonna be with Avalon. Then it's gonna be kinda interesting dynamic. When I did stop. Yeah. The guide passed, exchanging looks with the security guards. They manipulated something on the elevator panel, and door opened. Plaster on the walls wasn't glass, but still, almost as if they were preparing for a surprise attack. Aha, more burly than excited. Still, this is the elevator that connects the heart of our company, Avalon. Needs to be sturdy. A guide note on the wall with a clang. The elevator suddenly jolted upwards, and when the door opened, everyone gasped. Dreams are at the heart of Avalon, and this place where anyone can buy and sell energy freely on the moon. Kevin's dream is the heart of Avalon. Exiting the elevator, we came to the wall of an enormous hall. It was probably about 3 stories high. Machines for training were packed at the very center of it, like the yolk of an egg. There were rows of desks facing each other, so many that merely counting them would be arduous. It was majestic. Majestic to the point of being uncanny, in fact. Turned out it was a weekend. There are people here, because there are not weekends in the energy stock market. His room value was higher per square meter than anywhere else in the world. That young man, with his dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, biting his pen as he glared at his display. How much did he make? Definitely 1 or 2 million moons. He had a bird's-eye view of this entire scene. On the other end of the room was a wall of glass, and we could see the scenery spread itself out before us, from the top of the third biggest fortune of the moon. Avalon. The door to a different world. Just at that moment, Jess could be heard. Over there, screamed someone in the crowd as he pointed. I followed his gaze and saw a small crowd of men slapping each other on the shoulders. The guy received some sort of communication on their tablet, then spoke. Just now, it would seem that the efforts of a team that took a huge position they believed had an irrational price have just paid off. I hear they made profits of around 23 million moons. They'll probably be drinking themselves under the table with Japan today. Was it a statement true or not? I wasn't certain, but profits of that margin had to come up frequently, or this training room certainly wouldn't be sustainable. And our hero, Ken's office is on the top floor, 4 above from here, over there. Says he can look down on this everything. He makes motivational speeches for his workaholic traders from there from time to time. The guy pointed over at the spot much like one of whose special box seats at stadiums. To be honest, it kind of seems not really friendly. Like, I mean, well, it's true, but I kind of don't think what for employee just showing what he's above everyone else is a good idea. But then again, I guess maybe in these situations working like, especially like, probably shouldn't be like friendly. It's mostly about him just say. Sorry, I can't formulate what I want to say. He right now he maybe even not should be productive or something like this. He mostly like a figure, like an idol for them, like to show success or something. As well as we can say about this entire building and this tour, like they just showing how great this company is. Anyway. I'm not sure if I was able to explain what I'm thinking, but whatever, let's just continue reading. Of course, we deal mainly in energy stock trade, and there are various hour trades also taking place. Approximately 1,800 brands of stocks. One of the commodities we deal in and often bring up as an example would be bear derivatives. Investing in insurance based on how much it will rain next year's summer. That's essentially that's being bought and sold. Thus, in industries that produce grains, which are heavily affected by the weather, trade in this. Of course, this is more of Earth than the Moon, but we're quite good at gaining profits of it. You can see the weather on Earth from up here quite well after all. The guy put a hand to his forehead as he thought he was peering out at the scenery beyond the glass. This is the heart of it all, after all. It's the most efficient place on the lunar surface, crafted from Kevin's actions and ideals. Lowering the barriers of training and allowing the flow of the liquidity of a vast number of participants in, that itself become efficiency. As such, energy of the moon is especially. At this point, the guide was still speaking with exultation. But the price of energy is just going up. A sharp voice echoed, startling everyone to turn towards it. There are places in the outer district where it's too cold to sleep at night, because there is not enough electricity and they can't buy it. How are you guys going to explain that? So I guess this is one of the people who was protesting beside building. I mean, I'm not sure what causing scene on the tour is a good idea, because he probably just gonna be guards probably just make him leave, but I guess it's just gonna get some attention. But then again, most people on this tour, I believe, more interested in the money than if justice and stuff. So I don't think he gonna make them think and touch them their hearts or something. Anyway. The moon became uneasy. A stout duck had wandered into a flock of swans. Everyone turned towards the guide, almost as if they searched refuge. Yes, his ruling cost of energy is soaring. However, if not for us, it would be even higher. That should go without saying. That BS again. I won't be fooled. You're dumb racketeers. And if you say that, even economics explain that prices approach a median then trend occur in a rapid fashion. If we were to punish right here and now, that would prove our point, but we can't do that. The audience nodded, and the guide looked at the middle-aged man, scoring him with eyes full of pity. The lunar surface is expanding at an unprecedented speed. We are doing what we can to we are doing what we can to keep our lifeblood, energy, from getting clogged. There's someone like that in every office, isn't there? The ball won't get rolling without them there, with paper pushers, or like in every family. A mom who knows where everything is, from nail clippers to shoes. The guy chuckled, so did the audience. Also, the average IQ of our companies, able traders, is 150, but having them remove the inefficiencies from the market, for a modest commission, we are able to pass along services of lower rates and efficiently to everyone. After the guy said that he lowered his head respectfully, a single audience member clapped, the rest followed in kind. I looked to Chris. Her eyes sparkled as she gazed over at the scene of the traders who were said to be at the pinnacle of the lunar surface. Just as you have seen, Avalon's energy gathered trading firm. How about it? Stocks our company are like tickets to board came a magnificent dream. Applause. Uh, Certainly, it's quite different from the quality of investing blank self pitches, isn't it? Not to mention that our employees invest their pension back in our company stocks and manage them. That just goes to show they understand that it's the most wonderful choice they can make for securing their retirement. Once again, the guy then glared down at the lower class individual, as if he was the kind of king's magistrate. In fact, a certain veteran energy technologist who optioned a portion of his salary for our company stocks gained so much from them that the salaries he gained in his whole life passed comparison. Yep, an Earthling immigrant has recently purchased a maisonette in Newton City District, quite convenient for his daughter, for commutes to college. His family happiness was the motivation for his hard work, and the harder he worked, the better the industry and stocks value becomes. Uh, okay, this guide kinda good in how to say. Hmm. Okay, I don't know how to say it in English. But yeah, he really good in talking to people. Like, obviously, he can just talking complete BS, but who cares when he can do it good and people believe him? I mean, I guess because he can talk like this, he is a guide here to lure people to believe in this company. Anyway, his family happiness was the motivation for his hard work, and the harder he works, the better the industry, the stock value becomes. How could he not admire Kevin and his foresight in implementing this system in the infancy of the companies on the lower surface? The audience then let out a sight. Of course, you can't purchase our company stocks and without being an employee. Smile. The driving technique in stock trading isn't announcing how valuable a stock is, but rather proclaiming its potential to improve its worth from here on. The most enticing pitch being that there is someone who has already gained from it and they aren't that much different from you. Telling people they are not being living smart, that incites the majority of people and causes them to act less judiciously. I barely paid attention to the guy's speech, which itself reviled that of an investment bank salesman, and gazed above me from the wheelchair, what appeared to be Kevin's office. What did the scenery look like from there? 4 years ago, Warren taught me that pointing out the company's building of a pharmaceutical company called Ring Tech. There really was such a thing as a cursed building that would cripple your sales if you set shop there. But he said it was simply because managers of failure-prone company must stand up to like that sort of building, and Ring Tech really did vanish. Then, what about this Avalon office? Looking at the tracks of its success story, if its first floor, it certainly made sense. Yet, it also felt to me that it made too much sense. And the great pretenses. Energy, cooperative, trading company. But if the main focus was on stock trading, then it was not appropriate for this company to call itself a commercial firm. It was a gambling group, not different from a hedge fund. The profits earned by food traders, were they included in the energy company's finances, or were they considered a special type of profits they just happened upon? It seemed like a trifling difference, but if, as Eleanor said, it was because Avalon felt they must maintain high stock value, it is actually quite important. If stocks now, we are certain to have a good fortune in the future. What's the motive for that? Of course, I pondered that because of that Eleanor had told me, but there was also another reason. The guy was consistent, through and through in his describing the traders not as a gamblers, but as people collecting handling fees from bringing efficiency to the market. It was possible they were trying to dissociate themselves from the image of gamblers, but then they had no need whatsoever to go out on their way to show off that majestic training room in the first place. People rarely thought about what they couldn't see, so if they were going out of their way to not hide it, and on the contrary flaunt it, this could only be because they wanted this place to give a long-lasting impression. Something fell off. Now, then, let's head back down. Please, feel free to relax in our coldly illustrious cafeteria. The guy said that and moved us back to the elevator. The door closed, and with it the view from one of the three richest grounds of the moon disappeared. The audience were bustling with conversation. There were quite a few guys pulling out their tables, checking stocks as well. I even hear someone ask, "Can you buy stock after trading for hours?" It's not like there'd be any press on this, so there was not a single logical reason for their heads to buy. This program was able to reach insane levels because that many spectator people flocked onto the lower stock exchange as mass. It was amazing. Chris whispered to me, despite that, yeah, looking at the middle-aged man engrossing in their tablets, I thought, this, is, this will only make the stock go up. Then suddenly, I realized there were are beside the optimistic guys. There will always come a time where you eat losses in the stock exchange. Yet, there wasn't even a minute note of the risk from the guy's explanation, saying that they were just part of the service industry, and their earnings were all from handling fees. That was nonsense. It was an obvious lie. Besides, it was a well-established fact that there was no correlation between IQ and skills transactions. Yet, the guide uttered those groundless statements. What simply have been a little deceptive PR hype. But inside the training room, why didn't they boast about their larger generation of facilities instead? Was it with an energy cooperative? I look up at the overhead atrium. His optimism capable of piercing through everything gave the same fabricated feeling. Plus, the way they were trying to force the sell their stocks and trying to maintain high value. Or was I only thinking that because of what Eleanor said? There was no definite answer for full source of suspicions, but it seemed Chris had no doubts, and goes without saying none of the our guests, excluding the guy who burned his flags at the guide. Most people seem to believe that a large, reputable conglomerate like Avalon, seeing suspicions was just par for the course. And in most cases, that's true. Eleanor could not hold an extreme bias simply because she felt she'd been victimized. At the very least, I needed to stay calm and fair. As I leaned back in my wheelchair, entering Chris as she cheerfully pondered what to eat in the company cafeteria, I moved that over. It was just that there was always motive behind that people did. Besides, our room was a reflection of its own heart. Ken Latin room had a clear view of the training room. The thought of the reason for that ill will was swirling through the lower surface. Or it could have been that I was also infected. Hmm? Okay, it is time skip, so I guess it's a good place to stop. I mean, I'm a little surprised what it seems like a night, but still says it's few days, so they're probably gonna continue on this scene. So yeah, well, eventually it wasn't actually a short stream. I was afraid. Anyway, oh, it is all for today. We're gonna continue on Saturday, and as I already said in the start of the stream, well, on Saturday everything gonna be as usual, but starting from next Tuesday, we're gonna have these streams only on my second YouTube channel, City React, and I gonna stop streaming World and Economica or visual novels in general on Twitch. So yeah, why I believe I already explained on the start, so I'm not gonna repeat it. Anyway, I guess goodbye. Have a nice day.